The dust of Multan is ancient. It is not like the dust of other cities. Here it seems to hold memories, carrying whispers from thousands of years past. As the sun sets over this old land, the heat of the day gives way to a cool, eerie breeze that sweeps through the narrow lanes and across the grand domes of its many shrines. They call Multan the City of Saints, a place blessed by holy men and scholars. But with so much history, so much life and death packed into one place, it is also a city of secrets. Every brick seems to have a story, and not all of them are about saints. Some stories are darker, told in hushed tones after the last prayer call fades into the night. These are the tales of spirits that linger, of shadows that move when no one is there, and of sounds that have no earthly source. This city has seen it all. It has welcomed conquerors and mystics from Alexander the Great to the Sufi saints who gave it its famous title. It has been a center of trade, a beacon of knowledge, and a battlefield soaked in blood. This long dramatic history has left an indelible mark on its soul. The air itself feels heavy with the weight of centuries. When you walk through its old bazaars, the scent of spices and incense mixes with something else, something intangible and mysterious. It is the feeling that you are never truly alone. The past is not just remembered in Multan, it is a living, breathing presence that walks alongside the living, its ghostly fingers tracing the outlines of a world that has long since vanished, but refuses to be forgotten entirely. The stories begin where the history books end. They are passed down from one generation to the next, not written in ink but spoken in the quiet corners of homes and courtyards. Grandmothers tell their grandchildren about the jinn that guard hidden treasures under ancient trees, and old men share tales of spectral soldiers still marching on the ramparts of the ruined fort. These are not just simple ghost stories meant to scare children. In Multan, these legends are woven into the very fabric of daily life. They explain the unexplainable, give meaning to strange occurrences, and serve as a reminder that the spiritual world and the physical world are separated by the thinnest of veils. To understand Multan, you must listen to these whispers. This journey into the haunted heart of the city is not for the faint of heart. It requires an open mind and a willingness to believe that there is more to this world than what we can see and touch. We will explore the grand tombs where saints are said to still offer blessings from beyond the grave, and the crumbling forts where the cries of fallen warriors still echo on windy nights. We will walk through gates that are said to be portals to another realm, and stand before colonial-era buildings that hold their own spectral secrets. This is Multan's other side, a city not just of saints, but of spirits, where every shadow holds a story waiting to be told. The Tomb of Shah Rukn-e-Alam stands as a magnificent sentinel over Multan. Its massive, sloping dome, covered in brilliant blue and white tiles, can be seen from miles away, a beacon of faith and architectural genius. Built in the 14th century, it is considered one of the most splendid examples of Tughlaq-era architecture. Pilgrims come from all over the world to pay their respects to the revered Sufi saint, whose full name was Sheikh Rukn-ud-Din Abul Fath. They come seeking blessings, peace, and miracles. The atmosphere inside is one of profound serenity. The air is thick with the scent of rose petals and incense, and the soft murmurs of prayers create a constant soothing hum. It feels like a place protected, a sanctuary from the chaos of the outside world, but this sacred space has a dual identity. While it is a place of immense spiritual power and peace for the faithful during the day, local lore tells a different story after dark. It is said that the tomb, a masterpiece of human hands, was not built by human hands alone. Legends whispered among the locals claim that the saint, a man of great spiritual power, enlisted the help of jinn to construct his final resting place. These supernatural beings made of smokeless fire are said to have worked through the night, raising the massive brick walls and placing each intricate tile with otherworldly speed and precision. This legend explains the tomb's flawless and imposing structure, suggesting it is a monument built by both man and spirit. The stories do not end with its construction. Many believe that the tomb is still guarded by these same jinn, who serve as its eternal protectors. They are said to be invisible guardians, loyal to the saint even in death, ensuring that the sanctity of his resting place is never violated. Caretakers and late-night visitors have reported strange experiences that defy logical explanation. They speak of hearing disembodied whispers echoing in the vast, empty chambers long after the last pilgrim has departed. Others have seen fleeting shadows darting along the high, octagonal walls, or felt an unseen presence brushing past them in the dimly lit corridors. These are not seen as malevolent spirits, but as the saints' loyal servants. These tales of jinn and supernatural guardians add another layer of mystique to the already awe-inspiring tomb. It becomes more than just a historical monument or a place of worship. It transforms into a bridge between the seen and the unseen worlds. The architectural beauty that visitors admire during the day takes on a new, more mysterious meaning at night. The perfect symmetry of its design is no longer just a testament to human skill but a hint of supernatural intervention. The Tomb of Shah Rukn-e-Alam is therefore a perfect embodiment of Multan's dual nature, a place where divine grace and ghostly legends coexist, each making the other more powerful and compelling. The legends surrounding Shah Rukn-e-Alam's tomb are not limited to its construction. Many believe the saint himself is not truly gone. His spirit is said to remain, a benevolent and powerful presence that continues to watch over his city and his followers. Pilgrims often speak of feeling an overwhelming sense of peace and comfort as they approach his grave, as if the saint is personally welcoming them. Some have even claimed to have seen a faint glowing light emanating from the sarcophagus in the dead of night, a sign they interpret as the saint's enduring spiritual energy. This belief transforms the tomb from a mere memorial into a living sanctuary, a place where one can still connect with the holy man. The jinn, the supposed builders of the tomb, are said to be more than just passive guardians. Local folklore is filled with stories of their active role in protecting the shrine. One popular tale speaks of a group of thieves who, centuries ago, attempted to plunder the tomb's offerings. As they crept inside under the cover of darkness, the doors are said to have slammed shut on their own. The thieves found themselves trapped in pitch-black darkness, hearing menacing whispers swirling around them. By morning, the shrine's keepers found them huddled in a corner, driven mad by the terror of what they had experienced. The story serves as a potent warning to anyone who would dare defile the sacred site. Another fascinating legend involves the saint's interactions with other holy men, even after his death. It is said that the spirits of other Sufi saints often visit the tomb to pay their respects to Shah Rukn-e-Alam. Those with a heightened spiritual sense, known locally as Ali Nazar, people of vision, claim to have witnessed these ethereal gatherings. They describe seeing faint, robed figures moving silently through the courtyard, their forms shimmering in the moonlight before disappearing into the tomb's main chamber. These tales reinforce the idea that the spiritual world is deeply interconnected, with its own hierarchies and rituals that continue beyond the mortal realm. These stories of holy spirits and jinn guardians are essential to understanding the tomb's significance in Multan. They elevate it from a beautiful building to a living, breathing spiritual entity. The tomb is not just a place to remember a saint, it is a place where his power is still felt, where supernatural beings enforce his will, and where the veil between worlds feels exceptionally thin. For the people of Multan, these legends are as real as the bricks and tiles of the dome itself. They are a testament to the enduring power of faith and the mysterious forces that they believe shape their world, blending history with a haunting, sacred mythology. Long before it was known as Qasim Bagh, the great fort of Multan stood as a symbol of power and defiance. Its history is written in blood and bravery, a chronicle of sieges, conquests, and heroic last stands. The fort was ancient even when the young Arab general, Muhammad bin Qasim, conquered it in the 8th century, giving the modern city its name. Over the centuries it was built and rebuilt by various rulers, each adding their own layers of stone and stories to its ramparts. The fort has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, from the Ghaznavids and Mughals to the Sikhs and the British. Its walls have absorbed the echoes of war cries, the clash of swords, and the thunder of cannons. The most famous and tragic chapter in the fort's history came during the siege of Multan in 1848. The city was under the rule of Diwan Mulraj Chopra, a Hindu governor who rebelled against the growing influence of the British. The British East India Company, along with their Sikh allies, laid siege to the fort. For months, Mulraj and his loyal soldiers held out against a vastly superior force. The fighting was brutal and relentless. The fort's massive walls, which had stood for centuries, were pounded by artillery day and night. The defenders fought with incredible courage, knowing that surrender was not an option, and that defeat meant death. The siege reached its climax when a stray British shell hit the fort's main powder magazine. The resulting explosion was catastrophic. It is said that the entire city shook as if from an earthquake. A massive cloud of black smoke billowed into the sky, and a significant portion of the fort, including the Grand Jamia Mosque, was obliterated. Thousands of defenders were killed in an instant. Despite this devastating blow, Dewan Mulraj and the remaining soldiers fought on. The story of their defiance in the face of certain doom has become a legendary tale of heroism in Multan. They held their ground until their resources were completely exhausted and the enemy finally breached the walls. This violent history has left a deep and lasting scar on the grounds of the fort. Today, much of it is in ruins with only fragments of its former glory remaining. A cricket stadium now stands where battles were once fought, but the past is not so easily erased. People who visit Qasim Bagh, especially after sunset, report a heavy, somber atmosphere. They speak of feeling an overwhelming sense of sadness and loss, as if the sorrow of the fallen soldiers still permeates the air. The fort is no longer just a historical site, it is a vast, open-air tomb, a place where the echoes of its bloody past still resonate, waiting to share their tragic tales with those who are willing to listen. The spirits of Qasim Bagh Fort are not peaceful. They are the restless souls of soldiers who died in the fury of battle, their lives cut short by cannonballs and, well, betrayal. Many locals believe that the ghost of Dewan Mulraj Chopra himself still wanders the ruins. He is said to appear as a tall, imposing figure dressed in the attire of a 19th-century nobleman, his face etched with sorrow and defiance. He is most often seen near the spot where the powder magazine exploded, eternally surveying the destruction of his beloved stronghold. His spirit is not considered malevolent but rather a tragic figure, a guardian who could not save his city and is now forever bound to its ruins. Another chilling tale from the fort involves the betrayal that preceded the siege. Two young British officers, Patrick Vans Agnew and Lieutenant William Anderson, were sent to Multan to oversee the transfer of power from Mulraj. An altercation broke out and the two officers were attacked and murdered by a mob, an event that triggered the siege. It is said that the ghosts of these two Englishmen still haunt the fort. Visitors have reported seeing the apparitions of two men in 19th-century British military uniforms who appear suddenly and then vanish just as quickly. They are often seen near the old Idgah Mosque, where they were first attacked, their spectral forms replaying the final violent moments of their lives. The sounds of battle are also a common phenomenon reported at Qasim Bagh. On quiet nights, particularly on the anniversary of the Great Siege, people claim to hear the faint but unmistakable sounds of war. They describe the distant clash of steel, the muffled shouts of men in combat, and the ghostly thunder of cannons. Some have even reported smelling the distinct acrid scent of gunpowder lingering in the air. These phantom sounds are believed to be a form of spiritual residue, the intense energy of the battle forever imprinted on the location. It is as if the fort is trapped in a time loop, doomed to eternally echo its most traumatic moments. These stories of valiant governors, betrayed officers, and phantom armies give the fort a profound and haunting character. It is a place where history feels intensely alive, where the boundaries between the past and the present seem to blur. The crumbling walls are not just decaying brick and mortar, they are silent witnesses to centuries of human drama. The spirits of Qasim Bagh are a powerful reminder of the sacrifices, betrayals, and heroism that have defined Multan. They ensure that the stories of those who fought and died here are never forgotten, their ghostly presence a permanent part of the city's complex and layered identity. Like all ancient walled cities, Multan is defined by its gates. These massive gateways were once the only way to enter or leave the fortified city, serving as points of security and control. Today, most of the original wall has crumbled, but the gates remain, standing as proud monuments to a bygone era. Of all these gates, perhaps none is as steeped in mystery and folklore as Haram Gate. Its name, Haram, is derived from the word harem, suggesting it was once an entrance used exclusively by the women of noble or royal households. This association with secrecy and seclusion has fueled countless legends, and many believe the gate is more than just a historical structure. Locals whisper that Haram Gate is not just a portal into the old city, but a gateway to the spirit world. The architecture of the gate is old and imposing, and the narrow, winding lanes that lead away from it seem to be caught in a time warp. As darkness falls, the area around the gate takes on a distinctly eerie quality. The shadows seem to deepen, and the silence is often broken by sounds that cannot be easily explained. Shopkeepers who close their stores late at night, and residents who live nearby have long shared stories of strange occurrences, solidifying the gate's reputation as one of Multan's most haunted locations. One of the most persistent legends associated with Haram Gate is that of hidden, underground tunnels. It is said that a network of secret passages begins near the gate, leading deep beneath the city. These tunnels were supposedly used by royalty to move about unseen, and in times of war, they served as escape routes. Folklore claims that these tunnels are now haunted by the spirits of those who died within them, either lost in the darkness or trapped during a siege. People say that on certain nights, you can hear faint moans and cries coming from the ground near the gate, the desperate voices of souls who never found their way out. The very air around Haram Gate feels charged with a strange energy. Many people report feeling a sudden, inexplicable drop in temperature as they pass through its archway, even on the hottest of summer nights. Others speak of a feeling of being watched by unseen eyes, a prickling sensation on the back of the neck that sends a shiver down their spine. These experiences are so common that many locals avoid the area after midnight. They believe that the veil between the world of the living and the world of the dead is particularly thin at Haram Gate, making it a place where encounters with the supernatural are not just possible but likely. Among the many ghostly tales told about Haram Gate, the story of the Phantom Caravan is perhaps the most famous. For centuries, Multan was a vital stop on ancient trade routes, and caravans laden with silks, spices, and other precious goods were a common sight. Legend has it that one such caravan, belonging to a wealthy merchant, was ambushed and slaughtered by bandits just outside Haram Gate. The merchant, his family, and his guards were all killed, and their treasure was stolen. Now, it is said that on moonless nights, their ghostly procession repeats its final journey. Those who claim to have witnessed this phenomenon describe a chilling spectacle. They say it begins with the faint sound of camel bells, growing steadily louder, accompanied by the soft tread of many feet on the dusty road. Then, a spectral caravan materializes out of the darkness. The figures of men and camels are described as being translucent, their forms shimmering as they move silently towards the gate. They are said to be searching for their stolen riches, or perhaps simply reenacting their tragic fate, forever trapped in the last moments of their lives. The apparition is said to pass through the solid structure of the gate before fading away into the narrow lanes of the old city. Another enduring spirit tied to Haram Gate is that of the Veiled Woman. Her story is a tragic one, though the details vary in the telling. Some say she was a noble lady from the royal harem who fell in love with a common soldier. Their forbidden romance was discovered, and she was executed for bringing shame upon her family. Others claim she took her own life after her beloved was killed in battle. Whatever the reason, her heartbroken spirit is said to linger near the gate, the place where she would secretly meet her lover. She is always seen wearing a veil, her face hidden, and her form is often accompanied by the faint sound of weeping. Her apparition is said to be a portent of sorrow. Those who see her are often overcome with a profound sense of sadness. She does not interact with the living but simply glides silently through the shadows, a lonely figure lost in her eternal grief. Some storytellers claim that she is searching for her lost love, hoping to one day be reunited with him in the afterlife. Her presence adds a layer of romantic tragedy to the gate's haunted reputation, a reminder that ghosts are often born from human emotions as much as from violent events. The Veiled Woman of Haram Gate is a symbol of lost love and unending sorrow, her story woven into the very stones of the ancient archway. The Ghanta Ghar, or Clock Tower of Multan, is a relatively newer addition to the city's ancient landscape, but it has quickly gathered its own share of ghostly tales. Built by the British in 1884, the imposing Gothic-style structure was intended to be a symbol of colonial authority and modern efficiency. It was constructed on the ruins of the Haveli of Ahmad Khan Sadozai, which was destroyed during the siege of Multan. The clock tower was officially named Ripon Hall, and its grand clock, with its 4 faces, was meant to bring order and punctuality to the city. However, the locals believe that something more than just time is being kept within its walls. After the partition of India in 1947, the British left, but some say not all of them departed. The most famous ghost of the Ghanta Ghar is said to be that of a British officer. The stories vary, but most versions agree that he was a stern, disciplined man who was deeply attached to his post at the clock tower. Some say he took his own life inside the tower after receiving news of a personal tragedy, while others claim he was murdered. Whatever the cause of his death, his spirit is said to remain, diligently watching over the building he once commanded. Security guards and municipal workers have long reported strange occurrences after dark. The officer's ghost is often described as an authoritative presence. People have reported hearing the distinct sound of heavy military boots pacing back and forth on the upper floors when the building is supposed to be completely empty. Doors are said to open and close on their own, and objects on desks are sometimes found mysteriously rearranged in the morning. On rare occasions, a figure has been seen gazing out from one of the tower's high windows, a stern silhouette against the night sky. He is not considered a harmful spirit, but rather a spectral custodian, ensuring that everything in his domain remains in proper order, just as he would have demanded in life. The Ghanta Ghar's haunted reputation is a fascinating example of how history evolves into folklore. The building itself is a relic of a specific historical period, the British Raj. The ghost stories connected to it reflect the city's collective memory of that time. The spectral British officer is a symbol of a bygone era of foreign rule, a presence that lingers long after the empire itself has vanished. The clock tower, meant to represent modern order, has instead become a repository for supernatural secrets, its nightly chimes perhaps counting down the hours for both the living and the dead. It stands as a reminder that even the newest stones in Multan can quickly absorb the city's ancient, mystical atmosphere. The haunted tales of Multan are not confined to the grand monuments within the city walls. They spill out into the surrounding countryside, into the small villages and dusty fields where life has remained largely unchanged for centuries. In one such village, a short distance from the main city, lies a story that has been passed down for generations: the legend of the Cursed Well. The well itself is now nothing more than a crumbling circle of bricks, choked with weeds and debris. No one dares to draw water from it, nor do they even approach it after sunset. They say the well is not just dry, it is filled with sorrow and a malevolent curse. The story dates back to a time of severe drought and famine that struck the region centuries ago. The village's main well, the one that now lies in ruins, was the only source of water for miles around. As the drought worsened, the water level dropped and people grew desperate. According to the legend, a mysterious and beautiful woman arrived in the village. No one knew where she came from. She was said to have magical abilities and promised to restore the well's water in exchange for a terrible price: the life of the village chief's firstborn son. The desperate villagers, seeing no other choice, agreed to the horrifying pact. The woman performed a strange ritual by the well, and as promised, the water level rose, saving the village from thirst. But the villagers, filled with regret, decided to betray her. They refused to honor their side of the bargain. Enraged by their deceit, the woman threw herself into the well, and as she fell, she laid a powerful curse upon it and the village. She vowed that anyone who drank from the well would suffer a slow and agonizing death, and that her spirit would forever guard it, ensuring no one would ever benefit from the water she had provided. From that day on, the water turned brackish and poisonous, and the well became a place of terror. The spirit of the cursed woman is said to still haunt the well. Locals claim to have seen a ghostly female figure, draped in white, rising from the well on moonlit nights, her face contorted in a silent scream of rage and betrayal. They also speak of hearing mournful cries and vengeful whispers carried on the wind from the direction of the well. The story serves as a dark, cautionary tale about desperation and broken promises. The cursed well is a stark reminder, etched into the landscape, that there are forces one should not bargain with, and that the consequences of betrayal can echo through centuries, leaving a permanent stain on the land. On the outskirts of Multan, along the old Shujabad road, stands a large, dilapidated mansion that has been abandoned for decades. Its colonial-era architecture, with its high ceilings, wide verandas and shuttered windows, speaks of a once grand past. But today it is a place of decay and fear. The paint is peeling, the garden is overgrown with wild thorns, and a thick layer of dust covers everything. Locals call it the Bhoot Bangla, or Ghost Mansion, and they have good reason to. The stories of hauntings connected to this house are so numerous and terrifying that no one has dared to live in it for over half a century. The mansion was built in the early 20th century by a wealthy landowner. The legend says he was a cruel and greedy man who had acquired his fortune through dishonest means. He had a beautiful wife whom he kept isolated, almost like a prisoner within the mansion's walls. The story takes a tragic turn when the wife, unable to bear her lonely and oppressive life, took her own life in one of the upstairs rooms. Her tormented spirit, it is said, never left the house. She is now its primary spectral resident, a mournful ghost who wanders its empty halls, forever trapped in the place that was both her home and her prison. People who have been brave or perhaps foolish enough to enter the mansion have reported a host of terrifying supernatural activities. The most common report is the sound of a woman crying, which seems to come from the very walls of the house. Others have heard the faint, melodic sound of anklets, as if someone is walking softly in the rooms above. Doors are known to slam shut with violent force, and objects are said to be thrown across rooms by an unseen hand. Perhaps the most frightening claim is the sighting of a female apparition, dressed in white, who is sometimes seen looking out from an upper-story window or standing silently on the veranda, her face a mask of sorrow. The mansion has become a landmark of fear in Multan. Local youths sometimes dare each other to spend a night within its walls, but few ever last until morning. The intense feeling of sadness and dread inside is said to be overwhelming. The story of the ghost mansion of Shujabad Road is a classic tale of tragedy leaving a spiritual stain on a physical location. The house stands as a monument to a woman's suffering, its decaying state mirroring the decay of a life cut short. It serves as a powerful local legend, a chilling reminder that some places are best left to the ghosts that claim them. The stories of Multan's haunted secrets are more than just campfire tales or spooky legends. They are the threads that stitch the city's past to its present. In this ancient land, history is not a dry subject confined to books. It is a living, breathing entity that walks the streets, inhabits the buildings, and whispers on the evening breeze. The tales of saints and jinn, of spectral soldiers and heartbroken spirits, are the folklore that gives soul to the city's magnificent architecture and its turbulent history. They transform a simple dome into a miracle of supernatural construction, and a ruined fort into a stage for an eternal drama of valor and betrayal. These legends blur the lines between what is real and what is imagined, what is historical fact and what is supernatural belief. Did Jinn truly help build the Tomb of Shah Rukn-e-Alam? Does the ghost of Dewan Mulraj still mourn his defeat at the fort? Is the woman in the cursed well a myth, or the echo of a real forgotten tragedy? In Multan, asking whether these stories are true misses the point. Their power lies not in their provability, but in their persistence. They have been told and retold for centuries, shaping the way people see and interact with their own city. They add a layer of wonder and caution to the world, suggesting that there are mysteries that lie just beyond our understanding. For a visitor, these tales transform a sightseeing trip into a profound and unsettling experience. Standing before the Ghanta Ghar is no longer just about admiring British-era architecture. It is about listening for the phantom footsteps of a long-dead officer. Passing through Haram Gate becomes an act of crossing a potential threshold into the spirit world. These stories enrich the experience of being in Multan, leaving one with a sense of awe and a healthy dose of goosebumps. They encourage us to look deeper, to see beyond the surface of things, and to appreciate that every place has a hidden life, a secret history that is felt rather than seen. Ultimately, the haunted secrets of Multan are what make the city unique. It is a place where faith and fear, reverence and superstition, live side by side. The City of Saints is also a city of spirits, and it is in this fascinating duality that its true character is found. The ghosts of Multan are not just monsters in the dark, they are the keepers of memory, the eternal storytellers of a city that has seen too much to ever be truly silent. They ensure that the past is never dead but merely sleeping, waiting for a quiet moment to rise and share its timeless, haunting tales once more.